Hello and welcome! Tonight on the show, we're wrapping up a two-part mini-series based upon animals. This week, we have Beaver brand, we have Deli horseradish, creamy horseradish, and what could be called the red-headed stepchild, the Cranberry Mustard. We are so happy to have you. This is Soft Spoken.
And we're back. We are Soft Spoken, with a podcast detailing your favorite sauces, dips, and condiments. My name's Adam, and I'll be your host, and I'm joined here this week by my co-host, Tori.
Ahoy! Welcome to the SS Soft Spoken. I am your co-captain, TG, Tori, and we are so excited to have you, of course. And to my right, the fella that single-handedly displaced Bigfoot into the Appalachians, where he remains to this day. Our good friend, E. Hi, E.
Hey there, Tori.
I'm sorry to correct you.
I'll take that secret to the grave of where that Bigfoot is at.
He's been driven out.
Sasquatch is actually in the Pacific Northwest.
I said Bigfoot. I didn't say Sasquatch.
The same thing.
I got two different names.
Yeah.
He's an alias.
Yeah, they have other names too, but those are the two most common ones.
I ain't buying it.
What we do have on the East Coast is the Jersey Devil and the Pine Barrens, a lot closer to us.
That is a lot closer.
There's the Mothman, too.
The Mothman is also close to us in Ohio, Point Pleasant.
I thought there was a Mothman in West Virginia, too.
It's West Virginia / Ohio. It's right on the border.
Okay.
It was like a bridge was like one of the scenes of a lot of the sightings and stuff was like right on the bridge between them.
I'll be damned.
I think it's actually Point Pleasant, Virginia. But it like crosses over into Ohio. The town might be on both sides. I don't know.
I know I saw the movie a long, long time ago, but those Mothman prophecies, I don't even think it had anything to do with the Mothman.
It does have to do with the Mothman, which this is a subject I know a little bit about because there's another podcast I listen to called Astonishing Legends, which goes into this in some great detail. If any of our listeners are interested in some more stuff along those lines, I would check them out. They did a number of episodes on this, and also they had the, I believe, like director for that movie on the show on quite a few occasions. So
now it's time to catch up with the hosts.
Time to catch up.
Nice.
Eric, how was your week this week?
It's been good. I mean, we had Easter over the weekend, so I was out of town and didn't have to work at my second job. I think I've talked about it here on the show before, so.
You think?
I can't remember.
Yes.
Yeah. He's never brought it up.
We've identified not only that you have a second job, we've identified very clearly many times on like every other episode that you work at Home Depot.
Okay. So yeah, I didn't have to work at Home Depot, which was nice, and
my friend.
My secondary workplace.
It shall remain anonymous. I'm a man of mystery. Mr. E, as they call me.
There we go, that's right. So yeah, I don't know, it was good. And then work's been decent, so. Got some new stuff at the house, like new furniture things, but that's new, slightly used, I suppose. That'll certainly come up.
Back around to
that.
I
know that'll come up, so.
We're going to cycle back around to that, Eric. How about you, Tori? Anything fun going on with your week this week?
Let's see, my back feels a whole heck of a lot better. I'm not sure if it was a back problem or not.
How about your neck?
But I started, my neck's fine.
What about your and your crack?
Oh, boy. Okay. But, yeah, the back feels better. I mean, I started stretching. More so than I did before, different stretches. And yeah, so I'm not sure if it was a back problem or a hip problem, but I don't know. I'm going to take these stretches and run with them.
Nice.
As fast as I can.
Very good.
Giving some tips there at a gym?
No, this was a YouTube thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just like, I got sort of like this lower back hip pain going on. They said it might be a sciatic thing, so I do some sciatic stretches in response to it. And I'm feeling limber, man. I'm going to go climb a tree.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Outside of that, I had no charming retail experiences like I did the week prior.
You been busting ass on your yard.
Yeah. Not nearly busting as much ass as you do on a regular basis, but...
Farting, Eric. Farting a lot. Not working. Don't get that mistaken.
Working?
Eric made a weird face.
Yeah, I don't bust ass on anything.
Yeah, we finished the rock job.
Ass, all right.
We got some gravel and some larger than expected rocks in the mule parking space there. It'll work.
Speaking of busting ass, I did have a question I wanted to ask about this because last week was Easter. We had our own little Friends Easter thing where we did our traditional Korean barbecue. We had the CJ Foods Korean barbecue marinade, the same thing we did for last Easter, and we had that on a variety of meats and stuff, and we all brought food. But I was curious because, Eric, I know last week you said you're having a serious case of gastrointestinal distress for several days.
At the beginning of last week, yeah.
And what I think is interesting that I proceeded to the day after we had that event, I had some gastrointestinal distress for that entire day, all of Saturday. Pretty bad. And then also a little bit beyond that, too.
A little bit beyond that, wow.
Yeah.
You stay shitting.
Yeah, it was beyond shitting. It was more like, well, we won't go into that for listeners.
Oh,
jeez.
Yeah.
Beyond.
It was bad.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I wonder if that was related to your sickness. I wonder if you somehow passed that on or poisoned your food or something for me.
I don't know. I know go. I felt okay on Saturday and Sunday.
Tori, you felt okay?
Yeah, nothing that I can really remember. I got in the sauna, and it was just a regular, normal day.
I'm gonna stick with.
I can remember.
I'm gonna stick with Eric poisoned me. That's my working hypothesis. So,
anything you're talking to the Saturday before Easter?
Yeah.
I felt fine.
Oh, I was dead, dude. I was dead.
Wow,
it was miserable.
Huh?
Yeah, that's weird.
Anything else fun with your week, Tor?
No, with all this cold weather, I am doing some serious sauna sitting. I'm getting in that last final good run before it warms up. Before we do the ceremonial unplugging for the spring and summertime.
To summarize it, like people winterize their boats and stuff, you have to summarize.
I got to summarize the sauna. Yeah, that's a really good. I like that a lot.
But you got to put the. Not antifreeze. It would be like you got to put the freezing liquid in it or something to keep it preserved.
A good wipe down would probably be a good idea. A good wipe down. Hit it with like the vac real quick. Just to.
How much stuff is growing in there?
Dude, it's cedar, man. If that repels everything,
right?
So you just use like a
wet rag,
or even like a little bit of detergent or something. A little bit of.
They say distilled water.
Distilled water.
Mm-hmm. Nothing gets the ass stains out though.
So I sit on top. Well, you're a big brain time. I bought a bath mat where you would step out of your shower and you'd step on that memory foam bath mat.
Yeah,
sure.
That's the cushion I have on my seat.
Nice.
Ha ha. Big brain.
Big brain time. Very good.
Does your wife ever use the sauna?
No.
Well, too much ass sweat in it.
Too much.
It reeks like Tori's BL.
For every
step into the smell chamber. The TG experience.
Wow.
You do sit in there and vape you just like hotbox yourself.
I do a number of things in there. Yeah, my taxes. Oh boy, what else? Yeah,
that's what you do with it normally during the summer. Is you store piles of paperwork like Eric does on his guest beds.
Oh, goodness.
I am guilty of that, that's for sure.
Oh, yes, you are. I know one person that waited even longer than you, Eric. My sister, who's very smart and very busy, unfortunately, put hers off until literally Monday, April 18th. So there's some people that are worse than you.
Yeah, Nathan was doing his taxes, or having someone... Nathan was having his sister do his taxes for him on Monday. So she was calling him, bugging about questions while we were doing game night on Monday. Dear. It was kind of funny.
Oh, dear. This is like a personal grievance I have, which is like, I feel like life is not fair in such a dramatic way that like the people that plan ahead and do everything right the way you're supposed to and are like, putting a lot of effort into things should get like immeasurably more rewards. And I feel like, that doesn't always happen to those people. Like sometimes they just end up in roughly the same ballpark as the people that don't do the things right. So
for sure.
It feels very unfair sometimes.
Is this a personal perspective you're hitting us with? Is this an insight
Maybe.
I don't know what kind of elementary school you went to, but that was taught pretty young to me. Life is not fair, Adam. That is a fact.
Well,
yeah, I agree. That's what I'm saying. It's annoying. But
does it help you sleep at night, I guess, is the big question.
No. It makes me sleep worse, I think.
So yeah, it obviously bothers him. It's under his skin.
Wow.
The anxiety is what causes me to be that on the ball about things is also what keeps me awake at night. So it's not fun either way.
Oh, man. So you get no relief out of getting your taxes done on January 2nd?
I can't get them done that soon because I'm still waiting on paperwork well into March.
Okay.
I don't get relief out of
the first day you can.
I don't really get no, not really.
No?
It's just another...
You don't breathe a sigh of...
Not really, yeah. Just not, especially not this year. In previous years, somewhat, but I know I'm getting if nothing else, I know I'm getting a big bill from my tax preparer, so, yeah, it's never, fun, even on a good time, so.
I do feel bad for people who suffer from anxiety. I've never really been one to suffer from anxiety, I don't think. I mean, I get stressed from time to time, but I never would classify it as anxiety. And then I had a roommate who once told me that I was the most neurotic person she ever met. So I'm not sure where how neurotic versus anxiety falls on the spectrum. I mean, they're different things. So I don't think that they're.
Yeah, I think that this is way off topic for the podcast, but also I'll just try to make this very brief. But two things I want to mention on this subject, because I've heard a lot of people say to me before, oh, well, yeah, I think I have anxiety, but I've never been actually diagnosed with it. And so I don't really want to say that. And usually what I say to those people is, if you had a stomach ache and you went to a doctor and said, I have a stomach ache, the doctor wouldn't say you haven't been diagnosed with a stomach ache yet. And that's the same thing. Like, anxiety is a symptom. You can self-report a symptom. You don't have to be diagnosed with anxiety. You might not realize that's what's going on because you haven't been taught from a young age to recognize that the same way you have a stomach ache. But, that is a symptom. That is not a diagnosis. Like, if you wanted to go to a doctor and say, I have anxiety because I have OCD, then that would be a diagnosis and something a doctor should tell you. But if you're more than welcome to diagnose, quote unquote, yourself with anxiety. And the other thing I'll say is that anxiety and depression are two halves of the same coin. So you might not be suffering from anxiety, but you might be manifesting certain of those things in other ways that they're all essentially the same thing wrapped up in the same package. So you might not be thinking that, but you might not be also factoring that into your calculations as accurately as you could be. So there's different forms of anxiety too. So, but like I said, that also ties in with depression, which is also key with that kind of thing. So,
and I guess I always tie anxiety with being anxious. Those again, two more different feelings. Really, not really related as I think they are. I can't say as I really ever looked it up. So
yeah, it's a complex subject that's way outside the purview of this podcast. So
that's for sure.
Let's move on to other things. The one other thing I did want to mention was that
if you're struggling with depression, go find a friend, seek help, call somebody. We love you, and we don't want anything bad to happen to you. So I'm just going to throw that out there.
No, you're absolutely correct. Yeah, talk to your doctor. Talk to a medical professional. Talk to a therapist. Also highly advised. Talk to professionals about this type of thing. So, or talk to your friends too. That's fine. But don't take anything we say on the show as medical advice.
No.
Don't necessarily take good medical advice from your friends either. We strongly advise you to go to medical professionals, either of the mental or physical variety, for that kind of problem. Anyways, I beat Elden Ring the other day.
Oh, boy. All right.
Oh, nice.
Back to mindless video games all right. Hit me with this.
We got really deep there for a second. Like I said, way outside the scope of the podcast. But, I finally beat that. I was about 90 hours in, and I will say I was doing really good. You can summon other people into your game to help you beat bosses.
That looks so cool.
And it is really cool because you'll see just white phantoms around the game, and that's actually what other people have done in recent time is you'll see their action. So it's really cool because you might just see someone a white phantom get smeared off the map, and you're like, oh, there must be a really gigantic monster ahead that I didn't know was there, and it's going to spring this trap on me, So it is fun to see warnings like that. But you can also summon those players to your world and help you beat bosses. And I was very proud of myself because I managed to make it to the final two bosses, which extremely mild spoilers ahead for Elden Ring. If you've been on the internet, it's not going to be spoilers, but there's two main end bosses, which is one is Melania, who is famous for being a pain in the ass boss to beat. And the other one is the final boss, the Elden Beast / Radagon. Eric's making a weird face because he doesn't know anything about video games.
I don't know nothing about Elden Ring.
It's like Tori and I both gave each other
I'm explaining.
Elden Beast.
I'm explaining this to you guys because I'm not expecting
riveted.
you to know
riveted, man. I want to hear about Radagon or Ravioli or whatever.
Yeah, Ravioli. So the bottom line is that I made it all the way to those last two bosses without using any player summons to beat bosses. I only used my own skills and powers within the game. I did use Spirit Ashes to summon a mimic of myself, but I did not use... didn't use any player summons, but the problem is when you get to the end of the game like that, if you're not appropriately leveled to beat those bosses, you're out of areas to explore and keep leveling up to get higher to go beat those bosses. Because previously in the game, one of the things I found to be easier about Elden Ring as opposed to the Dark Souls games is that if you get stuck on a boss, you don't have to keep grinding away and trying him and trying him and trying him 20 times in a row. You can fuck off and go play some other areas and come back and then beat that boss once you've leveled up a little bit.
Sure.
With the final bosses, you really can't do that. So I did get player summons on those just because I feel all right, I got my money out of this game, a long time ago. I want to beat it, and this is the easiest way to do that. So that's what I did. And the one thing I will say about Melania, because this has turned into a bit of an internet sensation, is that there is a guy who...
The Buckethead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've seen him.
A jar on his head. Yeah, he is that for that boss. His name is Let Me Solo Her, and he wears a jar on his head and nothing else, and has two like katana type things.
I really was wondering if that was you, Adam. You're saying how you beat it. I thought, maybe you were being asked to come into games, and you're the touchless katana wielding.
Yeah, this guy is amazing. He constantly beats her, often without even taking damage.
Wow.
And I actually had the privilege and the pleasure of attempting to summon him. I found his summon sign, and I tried to summon him. Someone else grabbed him. He's a busy guy.
So he just waits around for people to summon him, and he just whoops her ass every time?
Yeah, you basically throw your flag out around the boss, and you can pick and choose from a variety of people that you want to summon to help you. And, of course, this guy's in high demand because he's an internet sensation.
Yeah, he's whooping her ass every time.
Yeah, I was happy just to see his sign, hit the summon button. He didn't show up. He didn't help me. I chose someone else to help me beat her, but just privileged just to see a sensation with my own eyes.
Wowee.
Very cool.
That's all for that, but moving on to the sauces we're going to be trying this week. We were talking about some intense, deep stuff, with the depression and anxiety. We were talking about a really intense game with Elden Ring, and we're going to be talking about some intense sauces tonight, because tonight, Eric, a collaboration between me and Eric was kind enough to purchase for us the Beaver brand horseradish sauces, and we've got 3 different sauces we're going to be trying tonight. Now, these are ones that I've been wanting to get on the show for a long ass time. Part of the problem was they don't carry them anywhere anymore. You used to be able to buy them at like Kmart, which of course have all gone out of business, so really can't find those anymore. But this was actually something my dad stumbled onto years and years and years ago, and it became his favorite horseradish sauce. So the first one we're trying tonight is the Beaver brand cream horseradish sauce, and it has
it's grandma's.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't remember ever seeing that on label before, so I was going to leave that off. It does say Grandma Roses, but like I said, I don't remember having ever seen that before. We'll get into this later with the packaging, but the packaging on these ones is a little bit different than the packaging I've seen previously on this sauce. So I like this packaging better for what it's worth.
I do. Yeah, I don't know what the old stuff looked like, but I really like that.
These ones are much more charming. I like these better. The second we're going to be trying tonight is the Beaver brand Deli horseradish sauce. And the third one was one that Eric picked up on his own choice and discretion, which is the Beaver brand Cranberry Mustard sauce. So some pretty bizarre, interesting sauces. But I think since we've got 3 sauces, we'll do the little trifecta thing, and we'll pass one of each of these around to the various people in the room, and we'll go a little description that way. So you want to do the cranberry?
Sure.
Eric and Tori, which one would you like to do, the deli or the cream?
Oh, heck, I don't care. Pick me one.
Okay, why don't you take the cream?
Okay.
Now, the one thing I will say about that is, I'm going to see if I can pull up an image of the old one, and you can kind of describe compare and contrast some of the differences. To lead us up with the outside of the containers we're looking at here tonight, we'll start over with Tori, and we'll work our way around over to me. So, Tori, do you want to lead us off with the creamy horseradish sauce from Beaver?
Yeah, sure. Here is a 12-ounce container. It has a red lid, and its shoulders almost look like that of, like, say, an Art Deco type style.
I think it looks like soft serve ice cream.
Soft serve ice cream?
You know what I mean? Where it's like got the ripples on top.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I don't know. Those ridges, I mean, if you were to look at it in a one-dimensional sense instead of, of course, the 3-dimensional bottle we have here in front of us, I don't know. I think it sort of looks Art Deco-ish. You can look at the Instagram and decide for yourself. But the bottle itself is clear, and in the front of the bottle, I have a green label. It is I don't know, maybe I'm not sure, lime green, maybe a skosh or two darker than what you would consider a lime green.
It's a pickle green.
Maybe I think pickle green or a cucumber green, possibly.
There you go.
So we have Beaver in all caps, the B and the R being bigger than the text there in the middle. It almost looks to me like a college text, like a collegiate esque.
It does look like a college banner, like something you'd see hanging in a dorm room.
Right? Yeah, exactly. That's what comes to mind. So right under that, we have the gold insignia, a little beaver head there, and it tells us right away. It says it's a winner. And here we are paying homage to Grandma Rose and her cream horseradish sauce, and it also gives us the warning in red, all caps, hot.
Now, I'd like you to just we did pull up on the computer we're looking at. We can include that on the Instagram or maybe the show notes as well. I have the old label pulled up here, and I would like you to note the lack of Grandma Rose on the old label.
It's true. Grandma Rose is not represented here. The text is certainly different. That looks to be more like a typewriter-esque type of font there. The B and the R still being bigger.
I like it less. You see what I'm saying?
Like, I like this new one.
I think the new one is a much nicer label.
It's cleaner.
Yeah.
It looks cheaper to me. It looks kind of like kitschy, the old one, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. It's not doing it for me. I really think that this upgrade label was a good move on their part.
Yeah. The manila folder-esque color that is sandwiched between those two greens, I don't know, that gives it sort of an aged
That doesn't offend
look.
me. I wouldn't mind if they had transferred that onto these. But the rest of it, I don't need. The style and design, it doesn't do it for me. These new ones, I much prefer.
And the old sticker was a rectangle with rounded corners, and these new ones have this little custom die cut to them.
I really like. I think that's much fancier. It does bear mentioning that for that sauce, though, they did keep the general coloration and aesthetic the same with the red lid and the green label.
True. And the shouldered.
Yes, the bottle's the same.
Yeah.
And I just think that I think that I like the new label better. I think they did a good job transitioning, but like I said, you guys, the listeners, you can make up your own mind. We'll throw them both on there for you.
There you go. On the back here, they really must have had some guilt about Grandma Rose. So the poor thing must have just passed on because there's a whole blurb on her. Yeah, so it has Grandma Rose written on the back and a cute little portrait, a drawn portrait of Grandma Rose also.
Really?
Yeah.
Turn around. Let me see this. This was never on there before.
Yeah, I'll read this little blurb for you. Then you can put your peepers on it. Fresh Oregon-grown horseradish was Grandma Rose's entrepreneurial secret for getting through the Great Depression, believe it or not. Since then, her cream horseradish has become an American favorite. Go ahead and enjoy, courtesy of looks like the Biggie family. So there you go. Grandma Rose's hot with a capital H, hot, bright red letters, hot cream horseradish sauce.
Is it Biggie or
Biggie? B-I-G-G-I?
Yeah, B-I-G-G-I. Yeah, I think you're right. Huh. Yeah, mine doesn't have that on the back. Mine has its own little thing.
Yeah.
But Eric, why don't you go ahead and lead us off with your sauce you're looking at there?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So this is the same exact shouldered bottle deco soft cream or soft ice cream, soft serve ice cream.
Soft cream.
Soft scream.
That Adam called it out as. So the bottle's the exact same. The cap is on mine a yellow, a bright yellow. Not quite neon, but it's pretty damn.
Oh, it's fluorescent. It's PennDOT yellow, I would say.
OSHA yellow.
OSHA yellow. It's safety yellow. It's up there. The bottle label is like a rich burgundy, and then the Beaver brand is in a like teal on the burgundy, which looks really actually sharp. The contrasting
cool
paper.
As hell on that one.
It looks really good. I like it. I like it a lot.
The labeling is
color
cool
scheme's
as hell.
tight. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I know I was on the you went rogue on this. You bought some extras, Eric, and that one. There was one other one you bought that wasn't. Maybe we'll do a little extra thing on one point, but. That other one was not a Beaver brand, but from the same company. This one's a Beaver brand, and honestly, I didn't want to do it until I saw how cool the label was, and I was like, we'll give it a shot.
Neat. Just based on the label alone. So yeah, then there's the Beaver logo in mine instead of like the gold color that was on Tori's is in blue with gold writing around it saying made in Oregon since 1929. And it's also a winner, which is interesting because the old one said award-winning.
Award-winning, yeah, right.
Really?
Mm-hmm. The old label that we were just looking at.
Oh, interesting.
So, and then it says Cranberry Mustard. Cranberry again is in that burgundy color, and the mustard is in that same blue as the logo. Yeah, it all ties in real nicely. It looks really good. It has like a white background on the bottom half of the logo, or label, I should say, and then the top half of the label has the Beaver brand and that teal on a burgundy background. So, and also of interest in contrast to the horseradish that Tori just said, mine's 13 ounces. So I get an ounce more.
Really? Mine's only 12 ounces.
Somehow squeezed an extra ounce into the same...
The bottles are all exactly the same.
Right, identical bottle.
Set those next to each other. The one's not taller, right? You have to take it off the thing. Set them on the table. Okay, so they're exactly the same, right?
Yeah, they're exactly the same. I mean, it's net weight, so I guess mine's just weightier than the horseradish.
Yeah, maybe they're... That's weird. Mine is also 12 ounces. As far as mine goes, mine is in the same bottle, roughly the same like outline of the label. Mine's more of like a brownish reddish color with a yellow beaver on the front, and then the beaver itself, a little picture of the beaver, is in blue. Made in Oregon, same thing. It's a winner. Deli horseradish sauce with zesty, fresh grated horseradish roots. Mine is gluten-free and parave. I don't know what that means. It's got a little K and a flag. Is that like... it's not the kosher symbol, so I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
All kinds of weird stuff going on there. Mine has a little story thing on the back about spanning for generations since 1929. The Biggie family, nothing to do with Grandma Rose on there.
She got her own product.
Yeah, I guess so. That is interesting that they changed it and included that, because like I said, that was never on there before. But yeah, so like I said, all very similar designs, mainly difference in colors. But speaking of colors, we're going to get on to now the inside of the containers that we're looking at. Tori, do you want to go ahead and give us a little visual description of the sauce itself?
Yeah, sure thing. It looks to me almost like a jar of mayonnaise or like old milk.
That's fair.
Wow. Yeah,
I mean, it's not quite as white as, a fresh glass of milk, and this certainly isn't a slam on Beaver. I like the sauce, and you will find out how much I like it later on. But yeah, as far as the color is concerned, it looks like almost like an old milk. It is, you can't see through it, not even a little bit, the slightest bit, and it is this sort of off-white, maybe. I don't know if it's, I don't know what color it's drifting towards, from white.
Like a bone color.
Yellow or bone, yeah. Yeah, so there you have it. This was almost fibrous.
Yes.
Yeah.
As it came out, the fibers of the horseradish were noticeable, visibly. They were strewn about within on the plate. I mean, even as you put a blop, you give it a little squeeze on your sandwich, and there's that little bit that stays still around the rim there. You could see the fibers, almost like little fingers sticking out of there. And that is a dead giveaway that you got some seriousness on your hands there. You better tread lightly.
I know.
Because it's going to take your head off.
I know what the answer to this question is for Eric, but have you ever mixed up like liquid fiberglass before?
Of course.
That's exactly what it looks like. Yeah, it's literally like a fiberglass texture if you're mixing that up. That's what that is with all the little hairs in it.
Yeah, well, they're fiberglass. Yeah, mixing shredded fiberglass into fiberglass.
Yeah. The actual fiberglass, not the like the hair stuff, not the
not the cloth hair, not the cloth.
Not the cloth. The tiger hair, I think, is the cloth, right? Yeah, the matting, whatever they call that shit. That's what it's like.
Yeah,
with the fibers in it. So weird. Eric, what about? Well, let me go next, because I know this is going out of order, but yours is weird as hell, so I'll do mine next just for a more direct comparison. The Tori's, the creamy one, I have the Deli horseradish sauce, and if Tori's is like a bone color, mine takes one step farther that direction. Like if his is old milk, mine is eggnog. And I think that's pretty astute, because in addition to being a much more like tannish version of white, it also has little specks of brown in it. Like you'll see like the nutmeg and spices in eggnog itself.
Oh, yeah.
Mine is also distinctly less fibrous. Yours, that is one thing I'm glad you touched on there, because yours is distinctly fibrous. And mine looks like just a little dollop of like a little, like French vanilla pudding or something on your plate. Like it's much less fibrous, which I think, as we determined, is definitely going to play through in the flavors. But yeah, not a whole lot else interesting going on other than that in mine. Just like I said, less fibrous, darker brownish, tannish color, some flecks in there, which I don't think are in yours. Why are you making that face? Piece of shit. Oh, Adam misspoke? I've never misspoke before in my entire life. Eric's making a face. Eric loves to make faces at me when I'm talking and distract. Like, oh, Adam slightly misspoke.
I don't know why I would distract him so.
Well, because you go like this. Whoa!
Exactly.
Whoa! Adam slightly stuttered on one word. Whoa! Meanwhile, you're over here like.
What word do you?
and you're laughing at me, slightly stuttering over.
I wasn't laughing at you. I think the listeners would hear that. So
that was look your face made. All right, Eric. By all means, please.
It was a super interesting slurpy slap noise you made there.
Slurpy slap.
Yeah,
you're gonna get a slurpy slap in a second. They're gonna fucking call me Will Smith of the Beaver horseradish sauce, because I'm gonna come across this table and keep the fucking horseradish sauce name out your mouth.
Go down to 7-Eleven and give you a slurpy slap.
It's the second Will Smith reference in the last hour. Oh, interesting.
Really?
What was the first?
What was the first one?
Justin was talking about.
Oh, yeah, your friend Justin was over here, who we want to have him on the podcast. We tried to coerce him into coming on here, and he said, you can't catch me dead or alive on this stupid show. So he basically said that. He didn't say those exact words, but he implied them heavily. But I hope he listens to this. Talk shit on him because he didn't come on, piece of shit. He looked like he was having a bad day.
Yeah, he's been having kind of a rough
Sorry, Justin.
week.
We'll catch you next time.
Yeah, we'll get you.
Or I'm sure you're not a piece of shit, despite the fact that you abandoned us today. Eric, why don't you tell us about the inside of your sauce?
I'd be happy to. So, my sauce, the last little thing I didn't mention on the label there, it says rich with honey and tangy cranberries.
We're on the inside now, you piece of dog shit.
The inside of this, though, clearly has that cranberry color.
And speaking of dog shit,
it's actually kind of, it's a cross between like cranberries, that like deep burgundy color, And maybe blended beets might be a good way. You put beets in a blender and just pulsate that into a nice sauce. Yeah, that's pretty much what this jar looks like here.
I have something I need to say about this when you're done.
There is some darker patches and flakes inside there that you can see. So there's certainly, and there's a chunk to it too. As you on the plate, you can clearly distinguish some whole chunks of mustard seed.
Chunky. Are you sure it's mustard or that's not cranberry?
And well, there's both. There's mustard seeds and there's chunks of cranberry. So yeah, it's
I want to make 2 comments about that stuff, because when I squeezed it out, it looked vile, and it squirted out a little bit of juice first when I squirted it, and it looked like it was bleeding. And
didn't give it a good shake first?
I did give it a shake after that, and there's no polite ways to put the descriptions of this sauce, because the first thing is, it's a very bizarre texture and consistency for the color it has, and it's not quite a cranberry darkness. It's kind of like a pale, light purple globular color, but
I was gonna say more like winey burgundy, kind of like a wine color.
It's not quite wine color though. It's like
it pale.
It looks like wine if you mixed it with cream. It's got kind of that weird color, and it's slopped out of there. And
if I didn't know better, I would think that's a hot sauce. Based on visuals alone,
sure,
without tasting or smelling,
like some kind of weird pepper. I saw a salamander today, and it looks like the skin of a salamander almost, as far as it's when it squirts out of there, it gushes out. The even less flattering thing was, have you ever had a gravy and you cool it down and put it in the fridge, and when you took it back out to scoop it, and it kind of scoops in that curdled form until you heat it back up? You know what I'm talking about at all?
Yeah.
Like a weird, if your gravy's kind of thick to begin with, and it kind of scoops out, and it's got that weird crumbly, mottled, weird appearance until it remelts. This is kind of like a purple version of that. Or if you even wanted an even less savory appearance, it looks like some kind of a blood clot or something you pull out of someone. Some kind of congealed mass. Disgusting.
That's nice.
Yeah, I found it repulsive. I almost didn't want to try it. It's not visually appealing in any way. Cranberry sauce to me looks fine. It's got that clear gelatin look. This does not have that look. It's a much paler, sickly color. So
it was poured into an open jar at a table. I would not hesitate to dip a pretzel in it or give it a taste.
I wouldn't go anywhere near it. I'd say, what the fuck is the blood clot sauce? Because I don't want any.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it looks vile to me.
It's not pretty. I think it looks like a hot sauce, but if you said, oh, hey, bro, that's cranberry mustard, I'd say, oh, okay, that makes sense.
First of all, I would say, what the fuck is cranberry mustard?
Well, yeah, I think that's a very reasonable question.
Which I think is still a question that needs to be answered on the show. Second of all, no, you couldn't fucking pay me to go near that. I would say no. I'm not even, no. And I think this is honestly, hands down, my opinion, one of the ugliest sauces we have ever had on the show.
You think?
From the sauce itself. The jar design, the bottle design is beautiful. They nailed it. And if it was just a cranberry sauce inside, the normal gelatin type stuff, I'd be fine with that. This, I think, is my vote for the ugliest sauce we have had on the show to date.
Yeah, it's not winning any awards for beauty.
No, it's not the best looking, but we've had some uglier sauces on there.
Name one.
What was that one from Sheetz? Terrible, ugly looking
You're dead
sauce.
to me. You're dead to me. You're actually dead to me.
Orange pale cream with funky colored flakes in it.
You are literally dead to me. That was your perfect ideal sauce as you described it. You look like shit.
It was tasty.
So I did want to mention that speaking of looking like shit, there was a little bit of a discrepancy today with the tasting article. Eric infuriated me as he usually does on Thursdays and the rest of the week. And we ended up with some Steakums-esque thing that I tried on some little slider rolls. And the weird thing about this one, I went off-brand, and they seemed initially kind of like a higher production value, but they didn't brown like the Steakums do. They kind of stayed pink, almost like a ham color, which really threw me off.
That was weird.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
It was strange.
It definitely looked more like Steakums that were ham, but they were claiming to be beef, so maybe like a corned beef color, I guess, is another way of putting it.
Yeah, corned beef colored. It was tasty, I thought.
They were okay. Right. I thought they were kind of flavorless, but I don't know. No, I wouldn't buy that brand again. I would just buy the Reggie Steakums. But without any further ado, now we've talked about that, let's get on to the actual tasting notes. So let's start off with Tories. Should we start off with Tories?
We can. That's the way I tried them. I start with Tories.
Let's start off with yours and end with Tories.
Oh, start with my mustard?
Yeah, start with your cranberry mustard.
All right, so I think this is 100% as advertised. It says rich with honey and tangy cranberries. I clearly was able to separate out cranberry chunks and the mustard seeds that gave a satisfying little pop in your mouth. It's good. It tastes like cranberry mustard. I've had other brands of cranberry mustard before, but this one really takes it to another level. It's really, really tasty.
You've had other ones of these before.
Oh, absolutely. I love cranberry mustard. I think it's delicious.
That's insane.
What?
I love cranberry
I have
mustard.
never heard nor seen of this before in my entire life, possibly intentionally and willfully.
Usually comes out around the holidays. I think Aldi's usually puts one out around Christmas time, so I think it's probably the one I bought. This was Aldi's brand, but okay. Yeah, it's a pretty common dip for me, at least in the circles that I try condiments.
Oh, well, that tracks 100%.
In your
circles that you travel in.
The circles I travel in are, yes, opposite circles of you guys.
You do travel in circles, my man.
Yeah, it's easier than squares.
Left turns.
Right. So what exactly are you supposed to eat this on?
I've usually mostly just dipped pretzels in it, but I thought it was actually quite tasty on that sandwich. I think with ham would be good. Maybe even pork chop.
I was thinking like maybe a sausage, like a German thing. Like if this was served me in like a German restaurant, I would probably try a dip before I discarded it. You know, I think it's weird. As far as I'm concerned, I can't move past it, man. Like the nothing about this makes me think it's food. First of all, and second of all, it just tastes like a mixture between. Like, you know, my least favorite word, if you took cranberry sauce and mustard and churned them together, this is, I fear, what would result. And when I taste it, I get like a cranberry sauce and I get like a mustard. And I get like those two things and it kind of like flashes back and forth. They don't mix to me and create like something better. Like, it's very much just like, I would like to try either one of those separately on their own much more than I would like to have this. I found this to be not as repulsive as it looks, but also not something I ever need to have ever again in my mouth.
Wow.
So, and it had a decent, like, sweetness. Like, I think if you made separate sauces out of them, they would both be, you know, adequate. Nothing to write home about. But together, I definitely get notes of both, but neither one I care for particularly. What about you, Tori?
Yeah, I'm on the same boat with you, man. It's weird. It's weird. I mean, there's no way to explain it. In my opinion, it's not mustardy enough for pretzels, and it's not cranberry-ish enough for applications that would make sense for cranberries, whether that be on a plate, like as a side dish. I know that's a silly proposition, but, you know, I mean, that it does both things. I don't want to say it does both things poorly, but it does neither thing really exceptionally well.
No, I agree with you. Like, the problem is, if you want to eat this on something, you have to eat it on something that both like a sweet cranberry sauce would go on and a mustard would go on, and it's still going to be like weird.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I could see that maybe having a home on brie cheese. I mean, cheese and mustard's a hit. Brie cheese and fruit is a hit.
Right.
I don't know. I'd be willing to give that a swing.
Okay. I'd be willing to give it a swing with like a cracker, a salty cracker, a little bit of brie, and a little bit of this mustard. I'm sure it'd be a little
creamy mustard. Not that it's it's not that it's that mustardy, and it's really not that. I don't know. It doesn't fit squarely nicely in either camp for it to be an obvious home run where Mr. Mustard or that ballpark mustard would just absolutely slam dunk in your face, John Cena, you can't see me type thing. But
I guess what's so great about it is it adds that tang to it and then that sweetness, and it really mellows out that like mustardy punch. I think the personally, in my opinion, the sum is greater than the parts. I think this is a really good sauce, and I think it's better together. I can see it being separate sauces, but I would not like them as much as being blended together.
Wow.
I'm totally polar opposite on this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind mustard seeds. I don't mind a seedier mustard, but yeah, I think that, I don't know. I hate to say that this is a one-trick pony, but I really do. I mean, and you said that it's a big thing on the holidays. I can see this being a holiday-esque hit. You know, in certain households, maybe 1 out of 6 or 7. But yeah, it's I like cranberries. That's been proven. I like mustard, certainly. But
like a spiral cut ham after the holidays, you cut that and slap that on some bread. It's super good. It's so good with some ham.
Yeah, all some weird points. Like I said, very bizarre, I thought. But let's move on now to the Beaver Deli horseradish sauce. Now, this one in particular, I thought was a delightful mixture of flavors. You know, the thing I like about it is it does definitely hit that creaminess, which is weird. We'll talk about that later too in comparison. Hits a good creaminess. It's got a nice sweetness. It's got a nice balance of the horseradish on there. I think it's a really well-rounded sauce, and I've had this and the creamy horseradish sauce before. I really like them both, but to me, I think this is the winner, and I slam on this on some roast beef or something like that. I love it on an application like that, and it's mild enough you can really load it on too. What do you think about it, Tori?
Yeah, you can really crush it. It's smooth. It's smooth on the tongue. It's certainly not granular like the creamy stuff is. It's just dang good. I've been sitting here taking schlecks of it with my finger intermittently while everyone's talking. So hella good, hella creamy. Hits the nice amount of heat. I didn't get the sweetness like you were talking about, but boy, I mean, if you were so inclined, you could eat that. At least I could with a spoon.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, same boat here. I've been, again, like you said, not been schlecking and the whole fingers dipping thing, but I've been hitting it with a little toothpick, just rolling it inside it and licking it off as people are talking. And I get a grainy. I mean, it still has horseradish in it. There's no doubt about it. You're not gonna. This isn't homogenized or completely smooth in any way. Even on my toothpick, I'm picking up little strands of actual horseradish. So it still packs a little bit of a punch, but it's good. It's really balanced, and that's what I think really nails it, because it has like this creamy, sweet, and heat, and it just blends it perfectly.
The thing I will say about that is that there's lots of horseradish sauces that you buy that are creamy kind of like this, and you can't taste the horseradish at all.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I like about this one, is it is well balanced, but it's still got enough of a kick. You'll get it in your sinuses.
They wave the horseradish over the pot as they're making the
exactly.
cream.
Like, it's just like mayonnaise sauce. You know, this one here, like, if you have a good solid bite, you're going to feel it. But speaking of feeling it, Tori, do you want to lead us off with your tasting notes for the third one, the Beaver creamy horseradish sauce?
Oh, yeah. Wow. This was equivalent to digging up a horseradish root, maybe peeling a couple of layers off with a carrot peeler, and just sticking the damn thing right in your mouth. I mean, this was dynamite in a little jar. I thought it was hella earthy. I was going to make the comment you could still taste the dirt that was on the horseradish root when they pulled it out. It was earthy, but holy moly, did it smack you in the mouth with that hotness. So that is warm.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more personally. And like I said, this is one that my dad is a bold man, as we mentioned before. This is his favorite horseradish. He likes strong flavors, and this is the epitome of that.
Yeah.
The thing I like about this, as opposed to like some hot sauces, is this is like very hot for horseradish without going stupid. You know what I mean? Like, it is still certainly eatable.
Oh, yeah.
Which is one thing I really appreciate about it. And, yeah, like you said, it's got that earthiness. The thing I think is so funny about this in comparison to the Deli one is that the Deli one, I would assume, would be the spicier. Like, you'd assume the creamy horseradish sauce would be the milder, as it usually is.
The cream implies a lesser heat.
Yes,
sure, yeah.
Generally.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas this one here, this creamy horseradish sauce, to me, a lot of horseradish you buy from the store, I could eat a straight up spoonful of. This stuff here packs a fucking wallop. Way more than like eating straight horseradish to me. That's the thing I find so bizarre.
Crazy.
I don't know if it's how they like marinate it or what they do to keep that potency there, but like, man, it kicks. I know if you try just a little dollop on a toothpick and put it on the center of your tongue, you can feel it burn its way all the way back. And it really gets in your sinuses and really lights them up. It doesn't last as long as like a cayenne heat, but man, does it pack a wallop. What about you, Eric?
Like you said, packs a wallop. When I took my first bite, this was actually the sauce I let off with. It hit, and it hit hard, and I kind of knew it because Adam took a first bite.
I warned you.
He did warn me, so...
And it still bit me.
Yeah, it bit you, it bit me. I kind of liked it, and I thought it was really good with, that meat thing we tried. Whatever that strange quick steak was
pink
called.
Meat, yeah.
Pink meat, pink slime, but it wasn't slimy. Anyways.
I'll make the horseradish sound that I make. I go, woo! That's the sound I make. That's the horseradish kicking in, baby.
It was kicking in. It was. I went pretty heavy with it, and but I didn't regret it really. I tried the Deli one, the creamier, more balanced one afterwards, and I was actually still crying from the first horseradish. I actually teared up a little bit. My description of this sauce is it's literally a more liquid white wasabi.
All right, that's fair.
Okay.
The thing I think is interesting about horseradish, and we haven't had a lot of horseradish on the show because I was waiting to get these sauces. And the thing about the horseradish is, like, with the cayenne heat, you can drink a glass of milk and it cools it down. With the horseradish, you dip over the edge of that roller coaster and you just got to ride it out, baby. There's nothing you can do. You're on it. You're on it till it comes to a stop.
Yeah, I was going to
Crying is not an emergency.
That's what. Literally, that's what it is. Like, you are not getting off Mr. Bones' wild ride. Like, you are locked in.
I took a big a mouthful of water when I was right after getting hit by it, and it almost made it worse. Actually, I think it literally reignited the heat and just made the burn even more on my tongue. So I thought that was really wild.
That sinus burn is what gets me. Like once it gets up in there, it's not coming back, and it's like, oh boy,
oh yeah,
oh boy.
But I like it still, oddly enough, and I keep going back for it, and it actually still has. Using a toothpick, there is still sweetness to it.
It is good. It's got a good flavor. That's what I was saying. And it subsides quickly. So it's not like burning your mouth for the next 10 hours. And it doesn't cause me any weird stomach things, like sometimes too much hot sauce can. So I like horseradish a lot for those aspects.
Yeah.
Without any further ado, it's time for Eric's favorite segment of the show, the ingredients.
We're going rapid fire to here, all right? Let's see. What are we going on?
Well, hold on a second. Do you guys...
First?
Oh, my dear. Do you... Tori, I know you have a struggle reading these, right?
I can manage. I mean...
Are you sure? Okay, I'll say, because we can just pass them on to Eric if you want.
Whatever you want.
I just said... Okay, well, let's give them all a read. We'll all read our own. We'll break traditional fashion. I won't make Eric read all these just because they look like they have quite a few ingredients, and there's 3 sauces here, so to spare him the embarrassment. Eric, go ahead and hit us with your cranberry mustard first.
All right, sounds good. So this cranberry mustard consists of water, followed by sugar, mustard seed, vinegars, plural, so it has white, distilled, and red wine.
Wow.
It has fruit juice concentrates. Concentrates. So there's cherry fruit juice, plum fruit juice, and cranberry fruit juice. There's cranberries, honey, salt, white wine, citric acid, natural color, onions, natural flavors, lemon juice, spices, xanthan gum,
bang bang,
bang,
sunflower oil, ginger, and garlic. Wow, those last two were really interesting. It is
Makes
so
sense.
good.
All right, I'll go on to the Deli horseradish sauce. Number 1 ingredient, vegetable oils, followed by water, then high fructose corn syrup, which is that sweetness I was talking about, eggs, interesting, grated horseradish roots, white distilled vinegar, salt, mustard seed, modified cornstarch, corn syrup, lemon juice, spices, sugar, xanthan gum, bang bang, citric acid, flavors, hydrolyzed soy protein, sodium benzoate, garlic, onions, calcium disodium, EDTA, Eric, tits and ass, retains product freshness, it says, and then autolyzed yeast. Whatever that is.
Wow.
What about you, Tori, with the creamy horseradish?
Oh, you got some similarities and we got some differences. Right off the top, we have grated horseradish root.
That tracks.
Yeah, right on the nose. Water, soybean oil, white distilled vinegar, high fructose corn syrup.
Okay.
Eggs, sugar, salt, modified cornstarch, lemon juice, bang bang, get your finger guns, xanthan gum, mustard seed, official flavors, sodium metabisulfate,
wow,
citric acid, spices, corn syrup, sodium benzoate, of course it's a preservative, and calcium disodium with the suffix that we all like, EDTA.
EDTA. Wow, okay. So it seems like the primary differences, Tori, between yours and mine is the order of the ingredients.
Yeah, the prevalence of grated horseradish.
Makes perfect sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I do, like I said, I think that if you like a hot horseradish, you can't go wrong with either one of these. Like these,
really can't.
These two would run the gamut for the family, Like get the hot one for dad if he likes that, and you get the milder one for the rest of the family. I think it's mild enough for kids to have it, so.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty interesting.
Oh, for sure.
It is interesting to stop over to Beaver's website. I don't know if we'll go through all their products, and the reason being they have quite a few, but also they own a couple other brands. And
quick story there, Adam. This is where I actually ended up ordering the sauce from, was Beaverton directly.
Yeah, you had to order from there because, like I said, I don't know where you find it. They had it through Walmart, but you had to go through this whole weird ordering thing. It was from a third party, right? So
yeah, it's a third party shipper, and you can't get around the $15 shipping fee for one jar. So it turns your one jar into $19, which was a little bit steep. I figured I'd just go through the manufacturer.
But at that point, you're committed anyway, so you got to go for it.
I had to get that free shipping, so I had to order over $35 worth of stuff.
Had to. So it does bear mentioning they have a number of brands here. Like I said, they've got award-winning apparel, Beaver brand, Ingelhofer, which I know they sell at Giant Eagle.
Apparel isn't like shirts and hats. That's the actual name of mustard.
Oh, maybe they do have apparel. I don't know. Okay. I have no idea.
You got me. I don't know.
It could be like shirts and shit.
I would assume it's shirts.
You're probably right. It's probably shirts and shit. Ingelhofer, which, like I said, they do sell at Giant Eagle, and I considered it as a substitute for this, and I was curious what the difference would actually be between the brands, because Ingelhofer does also have the same types of horseradish sauces. It's got the cute little German guy on it in a little round bottle. Very cool. Napa Valley, Pacific Farms, and Tool Lake.
I guess.
Sounds good enough for me.
All right, let's. There's a lot on here. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to go do the whole thing here, but maybe we'll see if any of these stand out. We'll just scroll through rather than doing the rapid fire style.
So we got various Chinese mustards. We've got...
I just said we're not reading
other flavored mustards. We've got... I don't know. He's refusing to scroll, so...
What? I just said we don't have to read every single one of them.
I literally just did the entire row in one description. Chinese mustards.
You didn't mention the bread and butter pickle mustard, which I think is the most interesting one. What do you suppose? They've got a Coney Island mustard, which sounds interesting.
Buy it for $19.
There you go.
What are you? $19. Oh, for the shipping. I see. I got you. They sell just a regular horseradish too, which I think it bears mentioning. Now they've got a deli mustard there. I think that actually looks really good, Eric. Looks much better than your cranberry mustard. Oh, damn. They sell the horseradish in quarts.
Hickory bacon mustard.
Now that sounds interesting, yeah.
Wow, that does sound interesting.
Mild Dijon.
They've got beet horseradish, which I think sometimes is sold in grocery stores, which I don't know.
It is.
I don't know if I see the appeal of that.
It's just red horseradish, that's all.
I don't quite understand the deals with that.
They had a jalapeno mustard, which is kind of different. You don't see that all the time. They actually have wasabi. Look at that.
It says wasabi horseradish. I think it says green horseradish, but they've also got a wasabi horseradish mustard and powder. They've got wasabi powder. Interesting. Wow. Now, here's the Engelhofer. If you see that cute little German guy design.
Oh, okay.
Yep, definitely seen them.
Yeah,
yep.
You've seen these in Giant Eagle, and I was very tempted to substitute those out because I imagine that probably the cream horseradish for them is very similar, but I don't know for a fact. I just know that I had to get that Beaver cream horseradish because I know it kicks like that, and it's one of the few that does.
Engelhofer makes a curry mustard. That sounds good.
Yeah, it does sound interesting. A deli mustard, which I'm a big fan of. Ghost pepper mustard.
Looks about the same lineup, pretty much.
I think it is, and that's why I was so tempted to try that instead, because I've looked on this website before, and I considered doing what Eric did, which was ordering off of it.
Sriracha mustard, sweet hot mustard.
You've got sriracha horseradish, which could be interesting too. They've got your wasabis there. Like I said, I think the line, it may be the exact same thing in a different container.
And that's the one I picked up there. The other one that I did was the Napa Valley.
Dijon mustard.
Oh, it wasn't the Dijon, though. It was Napa Valley.
Habanero, sweet mustard, honey mustard.
I don't see it yet.
Yeah, I don't see it yet either.
Huh, that's weird.
They've got all kinds of wasabi tubes here. I don't see the one you got. Which one did you get, Eric?
It was an orange ginger.
Oh, yeah, orange ginger mustard. That must have been like a limited time only, so... Yeah, they've got a shitload of products on here. Those are all the brands they have. Let's look and see at the apparel. I'm sure it's shirts. Yeah, it's a hoodie. We've got hoodies. That appears to be all for the apparel. So
it's a cool looking hoodie.
Yeah, and it's a pretty decent sized website. They've got a lot on there. You can order direct from there, but of course you've got to pay the shipping fees to do so. But with all that being said, let's get on to the ratings portion of the show. Let's go ahead and let's start off with Eric's first. We'll go to Deli, and then we'll go to the creamy horseradish. So let's start off with Eric's cranberry mustard.
Oddball mustard that I am I quite like. But I already knew I came into it already liking cranberry mustard, and I think this one really nails it. It's out of the park. I'm going to give it a solid 10.
Wow.
This is a 10 for me.
That's a 10 for you.
Delicious.
That's beating out the Italian dressing.
Yo, by far. Definitely.
Really?
Wow.
That's super good. So.
Ease perfect sauce, cranberry mustard.
Well,
apparently.
All right, this Beaver cranberry mustard, I will say I've never had any other cranberry mustard. I believe that probably Beaver would do it better than some others, hence the phrase, leave it to Beaver. That being said, for me, that particular one and all other cranberry mustards for me are going to be a 2 out of 10. Wow. Yeah, it wasn't doing it for me. The visual thing, the taste, there's no part of this I found appealing. But what about you, Tori?
Yeah, I'm hovering right around there with you, man. On what very limited applications, not only, I think, time frame, I wouldn't want this in summer or springtime. I think this is winter only. And even with that being said, it's very, very limited. Ooh, it's a tough one, man. I don't want to play copycats, but I feel as if I have to. It's going to be a dose.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah. Bad. Not good.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That's how it goes.
That's how it goes. Yeah, you can definitely keep that one, Eric. I mean, by all power, by all means. Yeah, let's move on to the Beaver brand Deli horseradish sauce. Eric, do you want to lead us off with your rating on that first?
Sure. If you want me to keep the
rating
order going.
We'll keep the rating the same. We'll change the sauces up and keep the ratings.
So this one was so perfectly balanced, and it hits all three areas I like, where it's like slightly just enough creaminess. I'm not a huge cream sauce kind of fan. Obviously, I've said that before. Ranch is like not a good dressing. Ranch, creamy things just aren't me. I don't
back to GI distress.
Sour cream, creams in general. Yeah, it doesn't do me good.
Sour cream.
But the brightness of it and the heat level that it brought and just how well balanced it was. I don't see why I couldn't give this a 10. It's a 10.
Nice. All right. Yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest with you. I told you guys my dad's favorite is that creamy horseradish, and I gotta be straight with you. This deli horseradish is my favorite. I agree. It's perfectly balanced. It's got a really good flavor profile. They nailed the sweetness. It's not too sweet. The creaminess is perfect. I love the subtle off-white coloring with the darker flakes in it. It goes great on a variety of things. And it's still got enough of a kick, not to scare anyone off, but still that like an expert horseradish eater would still notice it much better than a lot of other things. And I think it really excels on a lot of foods. 10 for me, too. What about you, Tori?
Wow.
No pressure.
No pressure. Well, no need, because I agree with you boys. I think it's a 10. I think it's a handful. Boy. I think we got 2 handfuls worth of a score here for all those reasons you boys cited. I like creamy sauces. I especially like creamy horseradish, and I was thinking along your lines, how could I make this sauce better?
I don't know.
And I'm coming up empty.
So. I know you're a big horseradish fan to begin with.
Indeed.
As am I.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I like it on, I don't want to say anything, but we're approaching anything.
Yeah, to me, this stuff on like a roast beef, like straight out of the crock pot is, delightful.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. A chuck roast, a number of things. Even a nice grilled cheese with a little bit of tomato would be really good. I mean, just a number of things that would be excellent.
It's so well balanced.
Yeah. It took a long time for me to actually, as a child, I would not eat radishes or do horseradish sauce at all.
I like how you say do horseradish sauce like
I would not do it. I would not partake.
All my cousins would get together in the bathroom and snort lines of horseradish, and I wouldn't do it with them.
My grandmother was a big fan of horseradish sauce, actually, so she would always have it out on the table for holidays and whatnot, and I always go, ew, no. I turn up my nose at it and just nope, no thank you, no thank you. And it took, so I'd say maybe in the last 10 years really was when it finally started to I had it on some, I think actually what I first had was with prime rib, which
there you go.
And it was, maybe because it was so delicious because it was prime rib, but
yes.
Don't hurt. Yeah.
I started to appreciate horseradish for what complexities and heat and level and whatnot they could bring to the table and bring to the different foods. So, yeah, pretty cool that now I can really appreciate it. In fact, I enjoy it tremendously so. In fact,
I love it.
Yeah. Should I go into this last one here?
Yeah, let's go ahead and dive right into the creamy horseradish there, the spicy nuclear bomb with the red cap.
And honestly, I think if you took 2 tablespoons of the deli and a half a teaspoon of this creamy one and mixed it together to give that deli just even more a little bit of an am, might really be dynamite.
Let me say this, because I will speak from experience on this, where the nice thing about this deli horseradish sauce is if you put it on a really hot piece of meat like that, it has a tendency to kind of bring out the aroma and almost aerosolize it. It does get up in your nose a little bit more, and if you put it on something really hot, trust me, it's packing enough heat on its own.
Nice. But I really like this sauce too. It does everything, but it brings a heat that's, definitely noticeable to a point where it's painful. I was crying, but it wasn't tears of I wasn't suffering, It was more like a tear of joy. All right, this hits and it hits well, and I could see its application thinned out or mixed well into a steak sandwich or something. So I'm gonna have to give it a 9.
Okay, very good. Yeah, for me, like I said, this is my dad's favorite. He would give it a 10. I know some of his siblings are also big fans of it. For me, my only complaints about this one were if I were to improve it, I would essentially be making the deli horseradish sauce. Tone it down a little bit. I like to really slather my sauces on pretty thick on things. My only gripe is that you have to put this with something else to me. I have to put this with some mayo, or I have to put it with something else that already has a little bit of sauce on it to tone it down a little bit. It's just so extreme if you put it in a large quantity, especially if you heat it up and get the aerosolized thing going on. The flavors are good, and if you want a really good punchy horseradish, this is it in my mind. I don't think there's any better ones. For that being said, like I said, I can definitely think of some ways to improve it, which is basically making the deli horseradish sauce. I do think it has substantial merit. It's definitely standing out above a lot of other horseradish sauces, but I think I'm going to put it at closer to a 7. That's what I'm thinking. What about you, Tori?
I don't think that's unfair. You have to have some distinction against the deli, or else why even bother?
Agreed,
so,
sure.
That heat there has to be its distinction. If I had both of those bottles in a cupboard, I would go for the deli over the creamy I'd probably say 9.99 times out of 10.
Yep.
And not because I don't like horseradish. Maybe I just don't want that much horseradish, especially depending on the application. So with that being said, I think it's unfair to the Deli to give it a 10 because I don't think that the creamy's quite in the same realm. It's tough. We're going to go 8.5.
Nice. Yeah, this is one of those regions where I am fully willing to admit that the creamy horseradish sauce with its punchier flavors is absolutely some people's 10. It's not mine. There's nothing bad about it. There's nothing wrong with it. It is 100% achieving what it's going out to do, which is a good,
it's valid,
flavorful, punchy horseradish sauce. It's doing a damn good job.
Totally valid.
I'm super interested to actually try it on sushi, literally in place of wasabi.
Interesting.
I think it would be like the Philadelphia roll with that salmon and cream cheese already, so it's got that creaminess. I think it could be just delightful.
You know what? Actually,
very well could be.
You sold me, and I'm actually going to give it another discretionary half point to bring it up to a 7.5 because you're absolutely correct. There are some things like that where the potency of the horseradish is more important than the creaminess of the sauce, and I think you wouldn't want that creamy sauce, a big hulking glob of it on sushi.
Right.
You would want just a little dollop of that. So I will say that that is a good use case, and I was really struggling. One of the things that brought down my score was struggling to find a good use case for it over the Deli. Gotcha. That's a good example.
Nice.
Cool. Well, that was an interesting one I've been looking forward to for a long time, and one that I've been putting off horseradish sauces for a considerably long time because I really wanted to make sure that these two, primarily the Deli horseradish and the creamy horseradish from Beaver, were included in that conversation because to me those are the gold standard by which all other horseradish sauces can measure themselves by, both for heat and just for overall quality.
Yeah, I didn't understand your hang-up on this brand, but now after trying it, I literally might pay $40 for a sweatshirt. I would wear their brand.
I would wear their brand too, to be honest. They make good shit. And I will say I've had both these in my fridge before, and I used up all of the Deli horseradish. My only thing is why can't I get this in Giant Eagle?
Right.
Yeah,
it's
that's
so
a shame.
good. And even when they sold it back in a Kmart, I don't remember ever seeing this Deli one. I only remember seeing that spicier one. And to me, this Deli one is perfect. I can't ask for anything more. I made that very clear already. So,
I mean, I totally believe their logo now. I know when I first saw this, award winning and it's a winner. Okay, who doesn't want to slap that on their labels? But shit, these guys really mean it.
It's good.
I do think there's something about a Beaver specifically too that seems appropriate to be their logo. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm thinking of the wood pulp, which kind of reminds me of how that other one comes out of. Which reminds me, I did actually see a few beavers the other day in the Ohio River.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I was walking along the river trail and I saw some beavers out floating around, which are not creatures I observe often in Pittsburgh.
That's pretty cool.
Kind of cool.
I'm glad to see them.
I was watching them go about their business. They're big critters. That's one thing I think people don't. They think people think they're squirrel sized, and they're not.
No,
they're big animals.
They're like a big groundhog, and really a little bit bigger, I think.
They're bigger than groundhogs. So, yeah, they're nearing small dog sized. Right,
absolutely. Well, some groundhogs are bigger than some small dogs.
I should say. They're nearing small medium dog size. So
wow,
absolutely. Yeah. I think the other association or discrepancy that people come up with is the fact that they're so skitterish. They don't allow you to get that close. So you always see them from afar. So that's
what I was so happy about because I saw them from almost directly above on the river trail. Whereas I'll go out in my kayak and they won't let you get close enough to really see them. They go under the water and they're hard to find. But
yeah, being
above them, the noise wasn't carrying straight down to them, so it was easier to observe them without disturbing them.
Nice.
They're not quite as big as Narnia. But, they are big.
Oh, boy.
Don't be thinking that we're talking about, man-sized beavers here, but they're... or children-sized, I guess.
And you know a lot about beavers in general, Eric.
No, I really don't.
You have experience. You have work experience with beavers.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyways, with all that being said, that's going to do it for us tonight on the Beaver brand sauces that we tried here. One of many in their plethora of sauces and brands. With all that being said...
Closing
Eric,
thoughts.
Do you have any closing thoughts you'd like to share with listeners tonight?
Honestly, the most top level, hitting me on the top of my head here is that I really wish that we could have tried more of their sauces. And it's a shame that they cannot be found locally. Maybe Soft Spoken could have something to do with that. We'll just send him out some saucy awards or something. We'll see here. Maybe I'm jumping the gun, but it'd be cool if we could somehow influence and bring them to the East Coast here.
We've tried a lot of good sauces this year.
Yeah, them home runs.
Huh. I'm struggling to remember any of them right now, but
Lots
okay.
of tens.
You're struggling to remember any of them. You're dead to me.
What are you on? What are you on?
Yeah, we haven't asked that in quite a while. You haven't gotten any more normal. We forgot to touch on the palate thing. We should have talked about that. Yeah, yeah. The other day, Amy, one of your coworkers,
one of my
Eric,
coworkers,
excuse me, was sent a text to the group chat, and she said, "Eric, you didn't show up to work today, so your boss has taken all the things you bought from the auction website and put them on a pallet
in the back of his truck."
Yeah, he said he's not taking. I'm like, we were all like, "What the actual fuck did you buy that requires a pallet?" So you brought a whole plethora of things from this. What is this auction website? Yeah, we don't want to give them a name because I don't want to give them a platform or lure other poor suckers into this scam.
Right.
But you bought an entire pallet of random things. You have a revolving door of desks at your house. You keep buying and selling desks. You're not refurbishing them. You just
buying and selling.
They're not what you want and you get rid of them.
Yeah, sadly.
Bizarre. Explain yourself, Eric.
Actually, the two desks that I have up for sale are two desks that were given to me from my parents. So I'm selling out the hand-me-downs and maybe
taking someone else's hand-me-downs.
Yeah, gently used product because it's all returned Amazon or returned merchandise back to a vendor or store, and then they auction it off because it's maybe not perfect in some way or form. The packaging might be torn or something like that. So.
Well, let's back it up here because a couple weeks ago you were telling the listeners about one of those game shelves you bought, and you're so proud of yourself because you got
on Let Go
$200 game shelf, the world's best premium,
nice calyx shelf,
bestest thing that IKEA sells for games for $50, and it's normally a $200 item, and then you got it here and you realize that it's a fraction of the size you're expecting it to be.
Oh, no. The calyx shelf from OfferUp is upstairs in my bedroom, and it's all put together, and it matches perfectly with the other calyx shelf.
Well, what's this one behind you?
The one behind me was advertised on the auction site as a cube shelf, and it thought it was calyx sized. I thought at least 4 of the shelves were calyx sized, and 3 were slightly larger than a 13 by 13, and I was misled. It's I don't know, maybe a 9 by 9 instead of a 13 by 13, and the other ones are
you think that's
13
9 inches
by
tall?
9.
I would say it's 9 by 12, maybe. I don't think it's 9
by 9.
We'll get a tape measure out after this. We'll fact check this. We'll add this to the myriad of things that Eric has been wrong about.
A myriad.
Might even be smaller. My hand spread out to about 7 inches, a little over 7 inches, I think so. Maybe I'm wrong, because that looks more than 7 inches.
All right. Time for a touch.
I walked right into that one.
And now it's time for Touching Thoughts with Tori.
Oh, all right. Well, after everyone's done looking at their hands and trying to figure out what that measurement is, I just want to have a throwback to, it was maybe last episode or 2 episodes ago, I made mention about how cool I think and we think you are and how good you're doing and those types of things. And I wanted to draw a little bit of a contrast to that because sometimes there's days where you may not feel as good or as cool or as good at what you do than other days. So I just want to take that moment. On days when you feel like that, I want to remind you that little steps are okay. If you get out of bed and you go to work, may not be the best day, but you gave it hell, you punched your card and you left. Sometimes that's all you need to do. And don't hurt yourself working too hard. So, yeah, because little baby steps are okay, too. You don't got to light the world on fire. And that'll do it for me. And we love you. And we're proud of you, of course. And can't wait for next week, of course, naturally.
Cool. Well, if you guys are sitting on any sauces like this beaver sauce that I was sitting on for this long, and they're going to be a real big winner for us, another Perfect 10 to add to our very limited selection of Perfect 10s, by all means, reach out to us, Softspoken Official on Instagram or softspoken@gmail.com. Drop us a line on either one of those, and we'll try to check it out if we can find it for less than $35 plus shipping or whatever. So, but as always, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll catch you next week.
Oh no, it's the end of the show. Thank goodness there's several other episodes waiting just for you. Check out our Instagram. We like to have some fun over there. We post the sauce bottle pics if you're curious, and the occasional meme. That's going to be Sauce Spoken official. Hey, despite our humble nature, we are accepting donations, believe it or not. Look us up on PayPal. That's going to be at Sauce Spoken. Hey, and if you like what you hear, grease those palms, babe. Lastly, roll up your sleeves and get into the nitty-gritty at saucespoken.wordpress.com. We have show notes and details. Check it out. Share us with a family member or a friend. If you're enjoying it, I'm certain they will too. Good night.